Hi learner bees, welcome back to my channel. So today I will be talking a little bit about what I wish I knew academically in my first year, specifically for a education degree. So the first thing is your CAPS documents. So in South Africa we obviously use our CAPS documents as our curriculum, and these will literally be your whole life throughout your whole 4 years. So what I quickly learned to do, and what I learned from a fourth year, is actually to print them out, and I binded them quite nicely. We have services on campus to be able to bind the stuff as well, so you can just pay to go get it binded. And then under each, so in this one, this is our life skills, English life skills CAPS document. So basically it is, there's like an introduction with like all the different skills and things that they need, and then there's also like specific themes that we deal with every week. So then on top here, I don't know if you can see, I put like, okay, so it starts there, grade R, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. And then over here, I don't know if you can really see that, it is a little bit thicker because you can't really see, but it's got term 1 to 4 as well. So how I'll navigate this will then be to go grade 1 or grade R, because that's what you do in first year, and then to know, okay, this is, okay, I opened it a bit far back, but this is grade R term 1, so that you know, okay, those are the themes that they need to do in grade R term 1. And so I've literally done that. This is the home language. So this doesn't, it goes according to terms as well, but it's just easier to navigate than to like look for specific themes, because there isn't really a specific theme in here. It's just certain skills that they need to acquire at certain points in the year. So I just did mine from grade R to grade 3 again as well. And then for maths, this bad boy, which cost a lot of money to print, but I'm so grateful that I did, because I know I'll never actually have to print it again unless they change the curriculum. But that's okay, that will be Then's problem. So basically this is just our grade R1, and that is something that I didn't know existed until just the other day, is that this is just grade R. And I want to stress this because I was stuck when I had to do maths lessons and stuff like that, because where do I get the stuff from? And I just kind of went off examples and stuff. So this is just grade R, and so that is why I don't have any tabs in it, because, well, I could put term 1 to 4, I probably should, but I haven't done that yet. And then we have our grade 1. So basically this maths document, I don't know why the CAPS documents for maths are so big, but they just are. So I actually had to, because if you put all of these together, and I mean this is only up to grade 2, I haven't done the grade 3 version yet because it's just really, really thick. So as you can see, that's all of them put together. So we have our introduction, which is basically just a breakdown of all the grades in one. And then this is my grade 1, and then grade 2, which obviously has more specific, exactly what they need to do every single week. So that is definitely something that I wish I knew going into first year, that these are your life, and in every single subject you will use them. They'll be used for referencing, everything. So that brings me to my next point, is when referencing takes a while to master. I'm not gonna lie, it's not an easy thing. It didn't come easy to me. So basically when you're referencing, let's just go grade R, because I know that I'm quite educated in grade R, because that's what we did in first year, and I'm only currently halfway through my second year. So grade R, let's just go first term. So what you'll write in your Word document is, or in your referencing that you will put in your lesson plan or whatever, you'll say life skills CAPS, and then yeah, so it starts off life skills CAPS, and then you will write grade R, semicolon, term 1, and then you will put the page number. So say now we are working on, let's not go for the very first one. So now we're doing my body, right? So then that's on page 16. So then you'll put semicolon page 16. And then sometimes, not really with life skills, I don't really do it, but then you can put my body as the theme. But the reason I don't actually put like my body is because there's a lot of like subheadings here, as you can see. So like there's a lot to discuss. So sometimes when we get given a lesson to do, it's not just my body as a whole, it's everything. Or it's divided, or it depends what the lecturer feels like doing. But then when you get to your home language, so this is an Afrikaans home language. I actually still need to go find the English home language, because I study in Afrikaans, so I obviously have a Afrikaans home language. So then we'll go grade R again. So then, as you can see, under grade R, is this how the first one looks? Yes. Okay, so this is grade R term 1, and then it will be listening and speaking is the heading. But then there's a whole bunch of things underneath it that you really need to read through, because I wish someone had told me this, because I didn't. At first, I didn't. You need to read through it, because you need to specify what exactly what part of listening and talking. Did I say listening and reading earlier? Because I meant listening and talking. Sorry, I can't remember. Anyway, then you need to specify that you are doing poems. That's not actually one of them, but it's just an example. And then each term they have different skills and activities. So there's, each term pretty much has listening and reading, emergent reading. I said listening and reading again. I meant listening and talking. Then emergent reading, emergent writing, and then again in term 2 it starts off with listening and talking again. So it's just like different things and different skills under each term, which is something that I wish I knew. Then our bad boy over here, maths was a little bit of a struggle for many reasons. Firstly, I'm not a big fan of maths. It's not really my favorite subject. But it has become one of my favorite subjects. I can't speak today. Subjects to teach. So the first thing to note is that in the beginning there are these tables, which you can go read for yourself as well, which is basically it tells you exactly how many lessons you need to spend on, say now, okay, counting. So in term 1 we'll do 22 lessons altogether of counting, and then they'll also give you a total for how many lessons in a year. So that really helps with your yearly planning. And then you'll go over here, that will give you a breakdown of what exactly gets done in term 1 to term 4 over here. So here's term 1 and term 4 over there. And then later on, the more you page, okay, I've gone way too far now. Okay, once that part is finished, here you go. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, so this is grade 1, term 1, week 1. So then you got to look under week 1, how long week 1 is, everything that you need to cover in week 1. And then as you can see, here's grade R, term 1, week 2. So that's why it's so thick, because it's literally so specific, which is something that I've learned to love, because it tells you exactly what you need to do. So, and another thing is, look, let me just finish these thoughts before I go on to the next thing. So, wait, I think I was finished. Okay, so I get too excited. I wasn't finished. I wanted to do grade 1 quickly, because obviously this is different. So grade 1 is then, my laptop made a noise, sorry. So here you go. Here's grade 1, term 1. So this isn't necessarily that they give you the weeks that you need to do. So it's not specific to what you need to do, but by the end of term 1, that's all the things that you need to have completed. Okay, so that just goes up to term 4. It's pretty easy. So the next thing that I wish I knew as a first year foundation phase student was how to present lessons. So this is specifically for my first years. Obviously, I mean, the third and fourth years know way more than me. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, first things first. The reason I want to talk about this is because we had so many classes and demonstrations and physically face to face with fourth year students, with third year students, with the tutors, with the lecturers, all of that. So we had a lot of materials and ways to know how to do the lessons in a way that you can get good marks and pass, but also know how to do it. I don't want to say properly because everyone's creative in a different way and teaches in a different way. So it's not about it being proper, it's just about it being effective. So we had a lot of lessons on lesson planning. And one thing that we missed this year, which I'm actually totally bummed out about, is the fact that we didn't get to do our workshop. So in first and second year, we do a workshop in April. First year, it's about grade R. Second year, it's about grade 1. So it was great. I really liked workshop. It was so much fun simply because it felt like this is exactly what I'm doing one day. So it wasn't all this boring theory, and like, let's be real, I mean, it can be pretty boring sometimes. Even though we really need it, it can still be pretty boring. Okay, so the first thing is, let us take an example of my family. That's a pretty easy one, right? Okay, so that falls under term 2, grade 2. And okay, where is it? So now you have your topic over here. So basically that will be your theme. Then underneath it, this is something I wish I knew. Your theme is my family. They just used kind of like the wrong word. And then so then underneath that it says who belongs to my family, activities my family do together, activities my family celebrate. Example, wedding, good news, and birthdays. So that will then be those 3 bullets that I've mentioned. Those will be your topics. So normally you would divide those topics probably along like 2 weeks, depending on how quick your learners will grasp a concept. But that is definitely something that I had to learn. So say now who belongs to my family. You will then do your lesson of, you will do okay, let me get this straight. You will do your lesson plan. This is now for university. You'll probably, I don't know. To be honest, I don't actually know, and I don't want to give you false information. I don't know if you still do lesson plans when you're actually qualified. If someone knows, please comment down below, because I should probably know that, but I don't. Okay, so then you will have your lesson plan ready. You will have your board summary ready. And you will have your theme table ready. So basically a theme table is something that will be in your class, how I understand it to be in your class for the whole time that you're doing that lesson. So whether it be pictures, and it can be books, and it can be little figurines, it can be all different types of things. I know there was a lot of students that made like little toilet roll people with like a mom and a dad and a sister and a brother and a granny and a whoever else belongs to the family. And the most important thing about this topic, about all topics, is you need to be inclusive, because like I said in my previous video, you get children from all different backgrounds. So it's really, really important. That's something that my lecturer stressed, and I totally understand why. It makes complete sense. Is you need to be inclusive in everything, because everyone's different and everyone's unique, and you don't want the child to feel left out because of something that they can't control. So that is really, really important. So those are things. So let me that was a theme table. Then a board summary will be your pictures. So you'll have a picture of a mom and a dad and a sister and whoever else. And most of the time the lecturers do like it to be real life, because yeah, we're living in a real world. We're not living in a fantasy world. So sometimes it is really difficult to find like appropriate pictures in real life, but they are more receptive when you have real life. But I've used cartoons and it's been fun, and they were receptive to that as well. So it just all depends on your lecturer and how they would like you to do it. So you need to be in tune with that, and you need to make sure with your lecturer. The next thing that you're going to need for your board summary is the words. So this is called emergent reading. And basically it's reading but not reading. They basically just associate the fact that there are words to things. So what you'll do is you will have your picture, let's say this is my picture, so this will be all the systems of the body. You will then put a label in that says the systems of the body. So yeah, that will be your label. So if you have a label of sister, or if you have a picture of a sister, you will label it sister. And it's important in grade R, you never use a capital letter. The only time you use a capital letter is in your heading. And that brings me to my next point, is when you're doing a theme lesson or when you're doing a life skills lesson, you must always, we forgot this in our lesson once, always have a label. So if your topic or your theme is my family, you need to have a thing that says my family. It needs to be laminated, it needs to be big, and it needs to be visible, so that they can also associate that with what we are learning, the fact that this theme has a name and it can be written in words. That's the only time it has a capital. So my will have a capital and everything else will be small letters, lowercase letters, yes. So that is something that's really important and that our lecturer stressed like crazy. And yeah, so don't make that mistake. I made that mistake. Well, my group and I made that mistake, and we have learned from it. We didn't fail or anything. It was just like, it wasn't a very nice feeling knowing that you forgot something. So just always remember that. Put that on your checklist when you're busy planning a lesson. That's really important in lessons as well as checklists. Okay, language lessons. Language lessons are seriously daunting because life skills is a fun lesson. I love giving life skills lessons. It's so much fun to teach them and to have a conversation with the class and stuff like that. But it's not necessarily a complex concept, that they need to know. So when it comes to language and maths, it becomes quite tricky. So the things that I wish I knew when giving a language lesson was, it's not boring. And I know you'd probably think like, oh, why didn't you know that? Like, hello, you're a foundation phase teacher, obviously it's not going to be boring. But it did seem like boring and stressful. So in language you get your phonics lessons and so your letters and sounds and stuff like that. So the one thing you need to know that we absolutely stressed in first year was that they are not called letters, they are called sounds, so that they can associate the sound and the letter, which is something I had to learn, especially being English, having to speak in Afrikaans. So yeah, it's always called sounds. Then you get your story lessons. So story lessons can be fun, they can be for enjoyment, where you just read them a story and it's so much fun. And then you get your educational story lessons, where you're then trying to ask comprehension questions about the story before and after and having all of that stuff. So that's totally up to you. That is something that you need to find your learning curve for by yourself, unfortunately. But what I can give as a tip is the materials and the apparatus that you use for the story lessons can make or break a story lesson. And this is something that I also had to learn the hard way. This is something that my lecturer taught me. I'm not going to give myself the credit because it wasn't me. It was something that my lecturer taught me, and all of this stuff is what my lecturers taught me. Obviously, I'm just carrying it over coming from a student's perspective because, anyway. So, first thing, make sure that you can tell the story alone, because we do a lot of group work. we told the story in pieces. So then it became like a you use this part, you use this part type of thing, and it wasn't like you couldn't tell the story by yourself. So that's the first thing. Even if you're working in a group, make sure that you will always be able to tell the story by yourself. Secondly, it needs to be easily manipulated. So you need to be able to, if you're using little stick puppets, or if you're using, I don't know, finger puppets or something, excuse me, you need to be able to move it around easily, you need to be able to switch between them easily, they cannot fall flat, and because it needs to be lively and it needs to be like exciting. So the best bet is maybe stay away from that at first, because I'm still not confident with that and it takes a lot of practice. So maybe steer away from that and rather go with like a puppet or pictures, or I made a little TV that you could turn out of a cardboard box and toilet rolls, or like those, the paper towels, the long rolls, like that, and that you could turn and that it tells the story like that. Or get yourself an A3 flip file, make yourself a 3D type of picture, and as you're telling the story you can flip through it and really make it like exciting. Don't just go with the puppets are exciting, and having a puppet tell the story with you is obviously always going to be exciting, but make it even more exciting. Think outside of the box, dress yourself up as a character. That can be part of the story as well. Like, make it fun and entertaining and exciting. I know that one time in our group we dressed up, well, two of the girls dressed up as the characters, and that was so entertaining. Like, I mean, we did it in front of our lecturer and all our classmates, and that was still entertaining and still so much fun. So the next type of lesson, I know this video is getting very long. The next type of lesson is a maths lesson, and the things that I wish I knew in the maths lesson was how to actually ask the stuff. Because it's not necessarily about what you do in a maths lesson. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You're teaching them, okay, if I have this many blocks, how many is it? Which one's taller? Which one's smaller? All of that stuff is in the CAPS document. But what I didn't know is how to ask it. So especially in Afrikaans. So if you don't mind, I'm just quickly gonna switch over to Afrikaans. So as jy praat van syfers, is dit nommers en so, maar like shapes will always be vorms, and like syfers is syfers en nie nommers nie. So like in English it's just numbers, it will just stay numbers, but in Afrikaans there's two different words. So like there's certain things that the lecturers will deduct you on for stuff like that. So it's just like, just make sure about things like that, because you can score easy points. I want to say punten now. Marks. You can score easy marks there. I think that's all. I am going to do another video, so watch out for that, about what to expect when going to practical and doing your practical in front of lecturers as well. I had a mixed emotions, a mixed experience of, because everything's just up and down, but I'll get into that in the next video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and please share it with a friend. If you know of a first year who might need some tips and tricks, please let them know. Share it with them and spread the word. And please follow me on Instagram as well. I do so many creative things on there, and I give examples of all the different apparatus that you can use, and I have a whole bunch coming soon. So please look out for that. Okay, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye.